The AFL is back, and it's a good week for the two loose cannons to return. I'm Liam.
I'm Ross.
Well, footy's back. Round one's done. We didn't get a prediction from us this year. We didn't get previews from us. But, hey, who knows where this game's headed.
Yeah, that's it.
Rule changes galore. Only half a round to begin with. So why not step in a little bit late, eh?
Why not? Yep.
So, how many games did you get to see on the weekend?
Well, I saw Thursday, Friday, and Sunday.
Yep.
I had my son's wedding on Saturday, so I missed both games on Saturday. Which is a shame because they were probably two of the better ones. But anyway.
And so, looking at the games that you did see, what did you think of the new rules and how the games played?
I didn't mind it. I thought the rules were pretty well adjudicated. There's still a lot of whinging and whining about the last touch one. Just get on with it, will you? Yeah. Give it a go. It's been, 1 week, and people are still saying we've got to get rid of it.
See, I'm surprised people are whinging about that because the stand rule, I don't know how many dodgy ones I saw on the weekend.
Yeah, the stand rule was, that probably cost Brisbane that game. They're talking about it. So, again, I didn't see it. I did see the incident, and they're talking about how they would have, if they'd got the 50 metres.
Do you know, the one thing that I take out of that, because I did see the game, was when Zorko took that ball. Now, he knew the situation of the game. He had to move the ball as quickly as possible. Yeah. In his mind, he's played on. Yeah. And the way he reacted, you sense the way the player initially reacts. Yeah. He didn't react. Yeah. So he wasn't upset about it. Now, if anyone was going to suck about it, wouldn't it be him?
Of course, yeah. I totally understand. Yeah.
So, I mean, look, there was ones earlier in the game. I couldn't work out. Yeah. Like the player has stood. Obviously, he wasn't where the umpire wanted him to be. Yeah. But they were told. Once a mark is taken, you don't move. That's it. So what do you want the players to do? Yeah. So I think there's going to be a little bit of...
It'll take a little bit of time to sort it out. Yeah, you're right. That ruck rule, there were a few I sort of looked at and thought, but... It is what it is. Played out okay, though. Yeah, I thought it played out okay in general. Yeah. There were a couple. I knew I was going to get that. Even with anything to do with the ruck frustrates me anyway when they do, the wrestling and all that sort of stuff, and they ping. You can see they're both wrestling, and they only ping one of them for that sort of stuff gets on my nerves anyway. So, the last touch, I didn't see anything that I sort of went, oh dear, that shouldn't have been that. No.
Flow the game, which is what they're looking
exactly. All in all, I thought that the rules were pretty good from what I saw. It'll be interesting seeing this week, though, because obviously we'll have a full complement of 9 games. And, so we'll see what happens. Actually, will we have the full complement this week? No one's got the bye?
No, I don't think so. I think a couple of teams get the bye next week. Yeah.
So, and this is the time of year where, again, I don't know why we split this first round the way we do, because it just becomes annoying from here on out.
No, and it's annoying
teams
because
having like early buys and
and look, yesterday my club, the Crows. Did you see the hullabaloo? I mean, they stuck their hand up to say, we'll take round one next year. Yeah. Oh, sorry, opening round because your Victorian match, you're not going to have the MCG available.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I saw that.
The test match, the centenary test.
Well, go back to doing what they were. Have the 2 in Perth, have the 2 in Brisbane. Have 2 in Sydney, whatever you want.
But maybe by the Crows asking, the AFL will go stuff it. Let's do, because you can still have.
They won't.
Look, you can still have the spotlight on the northern states because you could have your marquee games on the Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, all in that market. So they've got the prime time. The focus is on them. They get the big matchups.
Look, the AFL can't even get the rounds right. They got the Adelaide Oval empty in round 1, and they've got them both playing in round 2. They can't even get that fixture right. What makes you believe they're going to be able to get an opening round fixture?
See,
these people are inept, absolutely inept at putting equal and fair.
Do you know that every Victorian team is playing in Victoria on this weekend?
Yeah, I do. Exactly. And I just don't get it. The whole point of opening round was that there wasn't supposed to be any games in Melbourne at all. The minute Collingwood souped it up and St Kilda put their hand up and said, we'll take him in opening round, they went, oh, yeah, great, let's do it. The whole point of opening round was to give that exposure to the northeastern states.
Yeah, and look, that's a club that prides itself on being the biggest club in the competition. So and it's done through selfish means, and that
It
is
is done through
completely
selfish.
selfish.
Absolutely correct.
Give back to the competition.
That's right.
And then they whinge about the
Spot on.
luxury tax and things being given to other clubs.
And you know what? You have that, but if you're playing opening round, do you understand you get 2 buys every year?
Yeah.
Every other team that doesn't get to play opening round only gets 1 buy.
Yeah.
You're getting 2, and then if you make finals, you get that 3rd one as well.
Plus, I mean, it's a huge advantage. They're playing us this week, on
Spot
their
on.
home ground.
So they've already got
So
a
they've
run.
had a
in
run
their legs.
through.
That's
Yeah.
right.
They've been able to work
Yeah.
with the rules. They've been
That's
able
right.
to work out what they do with that
Spot on.
5th
I agree
bench
with you.
player.
Yeah. So I wonder if some of this was actually contrived to go, well, if we don't want to do it, let's see if the AFL responds by allowing us to have a game in Melbourne, which they never should have allowed. Never, ever should have allowed that. They should have said, fine, you don't want to do it? Great, we'll find someone else to do it.
But also, take away some of the privileges that they get. Take away some of that.
Yeah.
If you're not willing to give back to the competition, then the competition needs to find a way to get that balance right across the other things. So
Absolutely.
take away those Thursday night, Friday night, take away Anzac Day.
Yep. Absolutely. You know my thoughts on this. They should, every team except for North Melbourne and Hawthorn, because they play in Tasmania, every Victorian side, the other 8, should all have to spend 2 games in each state.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 8 and plus gather rounds. So that's 9 away games. Now, everybody that's whinging about that, you'll have 14 games, unless you're obviously Hawthorn and North Melbourne. You'll have 14 games in Victoria, whether it's in Melbourne or whether it's down in Geelong.
Still a huge
14 games.
And then they'll spin
So
back
that's not a disadvantage in any way.
And
they should make them do it.
Yeah.
Forget about this, fixture. You want to maximise the fixture. You can still maximise the fixture with 14 games in Victoria.
You can, and this
But they won't do it.
Tribe that they share grounds. They're still not freaking travelling.
No, because they'll suck it up.
Yeah.
You know that the Collingwoods, the Carltons, the Richmonds, the Essendons, all these Geelong, you know that they will suck it up. Geelong, you know what? Make the AFL give you your final games at Alphabet Stadium. Do it. Say, we're not going to the MCG. We're not going to play your games. We've earned the right to play the game down here in Geelong. We want our finals. It doesn't matter if we're playing Collingwood or we're playing Fremantle. We want it here because we've earned the right to do it. But they won't. Because they know that the benefits from the AFL and what they'll get back from it far exceed that home ground advantage that might get them to the next round.
Yeah. And that annoys me because if you guys, let's say you get through, you have to play Geelong.
Yeah.
Where's that being played? Alphabet Stadium.
That's right.
But if it's
a Collingwood, it's played in MCG.
West Coast even, because West Coast can draw over 50,000. And I think there was talk that we might be able to squeeze into the 60,000 bracket, so we might avoid going to Alphabet Stadium.
Yeah.
But that's bullshit.
It is bullshit. So it suits them when it suits them, and then it doesn't when it doesn't. So it's one rule for everyone, or it's not.
Yeah.
And I do understand we're in the money business. Don't get me wrong. I understand that. And you do, as any business, you've got to maximise your dollar, but it can't be an unfair advantage to 1 or 2 or 5 teams. It just can't.
No.
Geelong still have the last 4 rounds. They've virtually played the bottom 4 sides from last year.
Mm.
In the last 4 rounds of the year. So while other teams are slogging it out against teams that were in the top 8 last year, Geelong get this easy run home. 4 easy wins to ensure that if they're struggling and they're around about that 11 to maybe 8 mark, that they can squeeze into the finals without having to be a wild card. You know, that's not good enough. That's not fair. This is about the 6th or 7th year in a row that they've had the soft draw home. And that's not fair and equitable. It's not.
No,
it's absolutely just contrived. Collingwood, they contrive it so that they can make sure that they're around. Because they need the dollars. That's all they think about. It's just a money thing with them. It's not about being fair and equitable. And it's still the VFL. It is.
But you can still be fair and equitable and still make money. I still believe
they don't believe you can.
No, because they don't give it a go.
Obviously, they don't believe they can.
They don't believe it a go.
No.
They don't give it a go.
Of course they don't give it a go because they don't want to rattle the cages. They don't want to be saying no to Collingwood. They don't want to be saying no to half these teams that they know who have high profile, either board members or presidents or, media personalities. Eddie Maguire would lose his mind if Collingwood had to travel 9 times a year. He would absolutely blow his stack. He'd say the AFL was stupid to move him away from the MCG and to lose all this money. They're not. They can still play him at the MCG 14 rounds out of the year if that's what they wanted to do.
Yeah. But even the Friday night, Thursday night marquee fixtures, I'm sick and tired of being spun the bullshit. And this is why it's the arsehole FL.
Yeah.
Because they use the broadcasters thing of, it's not the broadcasters saying it. I don't believe so. That, we don't want those teams. They don't draw well enough. Yeah. How the hell do you know unless you put them in there? If it's the best game, you stick it there and you draw.
But they get told this. They get told that we can give you a better game. We can give you this or we can give you that. That's going to draw better than this or that's going to draw better than that.
Look at last year and the year before when you've had Carlton's, you've had Essendon on the Thursday night.
Oh, yeah, shocking.
Look at the comments through the thread. People are crying out for the decent games to be put on those spots. Doesn't matter if it's a Western Bulldogs versus not GWS, because that's a rivalry.
That's a rivalry.
GWS versus let's go back. Western Bulldogs versus Gold Coast.
Yeah.
That game's not. I don't give a shit about that.
It's not true.
But if those two are the best two teams going around that time, I'm tuning in.
Yeah.
But if they're sitting mid-table, I'm not.
No.
So don't give me this crap that two good teams wouldn't play. If it's a showdown, I've seen so many comments about opening up. People that don't have Foxtel don't get to see it. Yeah. And people are saying, put it on Friday night. I want to see it.
That's right. But they do put it. Well, they do put it on Friday night, and then they give it another match. They put it up against another match.
To ensure that it stays on Foxtel.
So you can't win either way. So it doesn't really matter. It's just exactly. This is just, and you can't tell me. They say, but all we do is feed the teams into a computer and it spits out. That's fucking bullshit.
Yeah. Okay.
I do not believe that for a second.
Collingwood round 1 to avoid ranking lining up against Collingwood. Having Collingwood play at the MCG and not give us the opportunity to boo them again? Like, come on. You can't tell me that a computer spat that out.
There's no way a computer spat it out.
No.
No way. And if it did, it spat it out after 6 or 7 tries. And then they've looked at it and go, there's 6 or 1.
Yeah.
So that's the only way it happens. Is they fed it in, and eventually. It's like the predictor. If you keep pushing the prediction button, it keeps changing.
Yeah.
The later prediction just keeps changing every time you push the button.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that if you could put it into a computer and it can spit it out, it can change it every single time, knowing that you're not happy with the first spit out.
Yeah. Yep.
So, that might be very well and good to sell us that it just got fed into a computer. But how many times did you try to get the scheduling you wanted?
Yeah, and how was it manipulated?
Exactly.
Because you're not fooling anyone. It was manipulated.
Anyway, let's move on to suspensions. What do you think of some of the...
Yeah, I think they're all there.
Yep. The Andrews one, definitely.
Yeah, he looked at him.
Yeah, you can't swing an arm like that.
The moment he turned around, though, and looked at him, that was it.
Yeah.
He was done.
It's all over. Yeah.
You could almost... It could go down to a one-weeker, if he keeps his eye on the ball, doesn't know he's there, and
swings the arm.
Yeah, because the careless factor comes into it.
I totally agree. He lined him up. He might not have been shirt fronted him, but he lined him up and he went bang, and he took him out.
Yeah,
definitely. So I totally agree with that. And look, I agree with you. All of them were there. I think there was no doubt that. But they've got to maintain this level now.
That's what I was about to say. I was surprised that all three of them did get pinged.
Yeah.
Simply because the inconsistencies of the years gone by.
Right.
So it's good to see. And like you said, it's only week 1. Yeah. There has to now be a consistency.
Has to be consistency.
Because, they've talked tough about concussions for so long to avoid lawsuits. Now it's time to show action, because if they keep going on at the rate they were going of the inconsistencies of the previous years, they're opening up themselves to lawsuits.
And not that he would, but if a Dacos or a Bont done exactly the same thing, I want to see exactly the same penalty.
Yeah. We
can't be looking at it and going, well, there goes the Brownlow for Dacos, or there goes the Brownlow for Bompton penalty. If they do it, and this has been the problem every year in, year out, is that they seem to take into consideration the longer the season goes, the impact that might have on that player.
Okay, so what I would say is, let's say you take away the factor of he's been suspended, and so you can be suspended and win the award.
No, because you can't. It's the best and fairest. You have to change the fairness.
But you can,
you can
just get suspended at your own club and win the club best and fairest. How's that work?
That's different, though.
No, it's not.
That works on a different formula.
See,
So the club best and fairest tends to be the player who the coaches feel did the best job of doing exactly what they wanted them to do for the whole year. And we know that because some of the names that come out.
So why do we call it the fairest then?
Because it's always been the best. It's always been the BNF.
Yeah,
right?
Look.
So
but if you take that, what I'm saying is you take that factor out, then, okay, Dacos, his 1 week suspension stays a 1 week.
Right.
Rather than he gets off because we don't want him, jeopardising the Brownlow. If it's a 3 weeker, it stays a 3 weeker. He can still win the Brownlow. Yeah. Great. That doesn't come into
So what about all the players who missed out on Brownlows because they were rubbed out? The grants,
posthumous. What do you call them? Posthumous. The awards.
Posthumously.
You could always
go back.
Give that back.
Or you have to take it off the bloke who came second who got it because the other guy didn't.
All right.
Get it
What about the year that Joe Watson won the Brownlow?
That was a bit different.
But they still did it.
There was a thing about the unknowing what the drugs were, so they weren't sure whether that was performance. So that was. And I'm still one who doesn't believe they should have taken it away from him.
Yeah.
But then if you look at the evidence and you see the previous years and the before, and you see the previous years after, and then there's just that isolated 1 year. But we can say that about Shane Woden. We can say that about Ollie Wines. We could say there's probably, you could think of 10 blokes who had that one great year and then never lived up to that expectation ever again. Yeah. So that just could have been it for Joe Washington. It might have just been that one great year, but because it happened in a drug year, they've gone automatically, well, it must be that.
Yes,
he wasn't as good beforehand. He wasn't as good afterwards.
Yeah.
So, but again, you could probably name 10 blokes who did exactly the same thing. Had a great year and then never did it again.
Yeah, and look, it could also be reflective of his teammates. There wasn't a lot going on at Essendon at that time that he stood out.
Yeah.
So
true.
It might not necessarily be that he was an absolute competition standout. You wouldn't be in the best top 10 players.
I think if you look at that year in isolation for him, he did have a really outstanding year. Yeah. I don't think anybody was really shocked. There was probably others who were favoured, but I don't think anybody was overly shocked like they were maybe when Ollie Wines won it or when, like I say, Woden won it and, players like that. There's always that someone who comes from nowhere to win it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they do have a really good... And in isolation, if you look back at the year, you think, they actually did have a good year.
Yeah.
And you're right about the team. But the team doesn't shine around you and you're the only bloke who's performing.
Yeah. The umpires go straight away.
It
was Joe Watson's. Even if, let's say, Joe Bloggs, who's not really a renowned player, is the standout player of that game and has contributed more to winning that game, they go, well, again, because he's not in the eye every week.
Yeah.
Joe Watson, 3 votes. A bit like Rao last year.
Yeah, that's it.
Because I don't know much of the Gold Coast blokes. Well, Rao was out there, 3 votes. Saw him get the ball 18 times. Anderson,
he's spot on.
Yeah.
And, the same thing happens with... And a lot of talk about the Nasiah Wangani-Miller game against Melbourne and how he didn't get the 3 votes in that one. But he had 1 quarter. He was missing. He went missing for 3 quarters. He had that one last quarter that got him over the line, but that was it.
See, but I don't mind that. If you're the difference in the game and you have one standout,
I agree with you.
I can forgive you giving the 3 votes.
I can see why an umpire looks at the totality of 4 quarters over just
the 1 quarter.
Yeah, just that 1 quarter because you happen to pop your head in for 1 quarter. How many times have we seen a player just pop up for 1 quarter and win a game for a team? Doesn't mean you deserve the 3 points.
Absolutely not.
But
now we need to touch on the next topic because this flows in. So Collingwood, Ross spoke about it strongly last year. The Dacos family having an absolute sook about Nick Dacos losing the best and fairest. Now, mind you, Darcy Cameron had a fantastic year last year, and when you look at how, because you briefly touched on it. Best and fairest are broken down. It's a player playing their role. Now, he's playing his role every week.
That's right.
Dacos may have had 1 or 2 games where he may not have. And that could be the difference between winning the best and fairest and losing the best and fairest. Now, they've brought in a rule, and I'm going to call it the Nick Dacos rule because I don't know what else to call it, where they can vote and give as many votes as they want for an absolutely outstanding game. So the votes don't stop at, let's say 10 is maximum votes. They can go beyond that. They can break that. If it's an exceptional performance, they just throw a number down.
Yeah.
That's dangerous. Because then that defeats what a best and fairest is.
True.
And let's say he has an absolute standout game where they throw down ludicrous numbers. Have shit games after that, and that could be the difference
the one that
between
makes the
winning.
difference.
I don't like it.
So if he gets double points in one and then doesn't perform, and he only gets 2 or 3 points the following 3 or 4 weeks, that double points in one or the triple points in one could be the difference between him winning and losing.
Yeah. Now on the weekend, he was absolutely fantastic. There's no denying it. He had some ridiculous moments where he's pirouetting between defenders and lacing out a ball 45 degree angle, 60-meter kick. That's brilliance. And on the weekend, if the umpires were writing down their votes and he gets 3 votes for that, I absolutely understand. And he'll get his maximum votes for best and fairest. Do that every game and you win the best and fairest.
That's right, you do. That's it.
Be consistent. Do what the coach asks you to do. Play that role and you'll find yourself winning the best and fairest. Changing the rule because you didn't win.
I agree with you. And look, and I'll say it again. If the umpires don't rate you, if your club doesn't rate you, and the Victorian selectors don't rate you, what does that tell you? It means you're not the best player out on the field. It's as simple as that. I'm sorry. You might think you are, your family might think you are, your supporters might think you are, but the umpires don't, the club didn't, and the selectors for the Victorian side didn't. So that just tells me everything I need to know about the Dacos and how they sook it up over BNFs and Brownlows and whatever.
I was about to ask, have you got anything to say to the Dacos family?
Well, it's as simple as that, mate. I mean, we all have eyes and we see how good this bloke is. We do.
Do you know what? I don't know if you've seen in the last couple of weeks.
But
And I wonder if there's a little bit of back and forth between the Dacos family and the club because of the Tasmanian tour.
Well, there could very well be,
and they could be using that.
But do you see a junior job going on here with Ablett, Ablett Junior going to Gold Coast here?
I could, because for one, he's won his premiership, so he's got that legacy with Collingwood. He can now start his own. He can be the guy that
takes the new team
again, because we still talk about Gary Ablett and Gold Coast, and that was he only came to them
6 years,
halfway through his career. So he can do that in Tasmania, set that up, and the amount of money they're going to throw at him.
Oh, they will.
He's not going to get that at Collingwood.
It's just not going to be him. It'll be the brothers. If they're going to package
you think they're both gone?
I think they're both gone. I don't think it'll just be one. I think if they're serious about trying to get Nick across, they've got to get Josh with him. They've got to give him someone who can go across with him and he can live with, who he's going to be comfortable with, and he's going to feel that connection with. And I think their best chance is to go for both Dacoses and get them both across.
Do you know what? Here I'm, as you're saying that, and you're talking about family going together, and straight away I'm going in my head, well, Victoria, Tasmania, it's not that far. It's really not that far. But here we are talking, and we'll talk about it as we get through to free agency, trade week, about how, and even drafting, how, players are so mollycoddled that they can't, leave Melbourne to come to Adelaide. Or when they join an Adelaide team, they have to go, they're homesick and have to go back to Melbourne. I mean, what sort of shit is that?
Well,
I should be thinking, my initial thought was, that's not far. You can see that.
But it's not, look, we like to think of it as a professional, it's not. We say we don't want to model ourselves on the US system, but the thing that makes the US system work so well is that they do leave. They all go off to colleges, and some of these colleges are thousands of miles away from where they grew up. And that gives them that grounding of actually being away from home. So if you do get drafted into one of these systems, you don't go, I'm homesick, I want to go home. Because you've already been out of home for 4 years because you've gone to college.
You've still got to make that commitment. You've still got to leave
but it's
home
more
to go
professional.
to.
That's right. Yeah.
I think the only one that sort of manipulated a bit was LeBron James. But when you're that good, you can.
Yeah. I mean, look, and I think that was a calling home to bring a championship rather than a calling home because he was homesick. If that makes sense.
I mean, in his draft years and how he got to Cleveland, I think it was just...
Well, look, they've always been people who've manipulated the draft to get their own way. Yeah. Sure. I mean, look at, what's his name? Went to New York, beat Brady in 2 Super Bowls. His brother played for Colts. Oh, I hate it when I go blank. Manning, yeah. He did the same thing, the younger Manning. So he manipulated to get to New York and then, because he didn't like where he was going. So, Look, if you got the talent, there's always someone willing to do the deal to get the number one pick so that they can secure you. You know, and that happens. I do agree with you. If you really want to be a professional sport, you can't be going, I'm homesick and I want to go home. You can't.
And you're calling yourself a professional sportsman too, so you're committing to that cause. So, yeah, completely agree. So we'll leave that there because we could go on about that.
Yeah.
We will probably touch on that at some
Well,
stage
just one more
this
thing.
year. Yeah.
What do you think of the Port Guernsey?
That's what I was going to roll to because
Okay.
I want to bring this up because off camera and not so much on camera, I've been, coming off the back of a bit of a cold. I've been talking about how Port Adelaide from the outside seem to be so focused on the black and white and paying tribute to their past, which is absolutely fine to do. That's who they are. It's great that they do that. But also, I feel like at times it's been at the detriment of their AFL history, which you guys should be proud of because when you come in, it was so unique because you were forced to be unique. But you shouldn't discredit that because I'm not, like I said, I've said a million times off camera, I'm not a fan of the colour teal. And that was before Port Adelaide came in. But the way you made that first Guernsey work, the first logo, that's iconic.
Yeah.
That is iconic.
Yeah.
So to see that you guys have gathered around, have gone back to the teal, again, I don't like it because it's teal, but looking at the neutral comments, everyone seems to love it. So I'm happy to go with that and saying it's a success, it's a winner.
Yeah.
And I hope a lot of your fans get behind that and buy up.
This is something I've said to you many times. This should not even be a debate. New teams should be coming up with new Guernseys year in, year out, like they do all over the world.
Yeah.
That generates sales and it generates money for your club. All right? And that's a better way to make money than to go to the AFL and put your hand out and go, oh, we're broke.
Yeah.
All right? Get your supporters to get behind you and buy your merch.
Yeah.
This is what always got me about Collingwood going, no, this is iconic. This is our... You could be making billions of dollars from selling your merch. You could, but you don't want to. So this doesn't shock me at all. And this should be happening all the time. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying you should have a different Guernsey for every round like some of the EPL sites seem to have. But you do need to have some different strips, you know. I've got a whole heap of Doug Nicholas patterns and, you know, obviously the iconic Indigenous stuff. I've probably got a wardrobe that's got about 6 or 7 different patterns on them, you know. So I love that sort of stuff. I've got probably 6 or 7 different Guernseys. I've got the prison bars. I've got a whole heap of stuff. And this generates money for your club. And the supporters love getting around in anything new.
Yeah.
To be like trendsetters. Look at me, you know, I've got something new on.
Yeah, so it's fun to have tradition.
It's great.
Yeah.
And I have always been one. I love the prison bus, don't get me wrong. I love the fact that they still want to honour that. And that was great when we had whatever it was, history round, throwback round, whatever they called it. And we used to get out in the prison bus. But I really liked that prison bar with the teal in it. When I first saw that, I thought that just looks magnificent.
That will come one day.
And it should. Yeah. It should definitely come.
Is there any way
even they do that for the away showdown and they wear the black and white for the home showdown and they wear that one for the away showdown, I'd be buying one. I'd be buying 2 probably.
I'll be truthful, I don't even care if you wore the black and white bars to the home showdown.
Look, we know where this comes from. There's only one team who gets offended when we put the black and white. Well,
it's our supporter base. Yeah, it is our supporter base. But, you
and Collingwood then.
But the thing is, they've allowed you to wear it. Who gives a shit if you wear it both showdowns? Like, it's not their business. It's only 2 games.
Look.
But there's this thing of... I don't think there's enough maturity amongst AFL fans. So that's the problem.
There isn't. Absolutely not.
So I just want to see that both supporter bases leave the ground and there's no bullshit.
Yeah.
Unlike, you know, we don't want this to turn into Celtic Rangers. I don't know if anyone saw that clip.
Yeah.
Guy jumped flight, kicked. They ran onto the ground and it just old pandemonium.
It's getting back to the old, like it used to be in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
Look, at the end of it all, you've got a crow that looks more like a raven than a crow. So talk about changing your emblems and changing, like it doesn't even look like a crow anymore. So I don't know why you guys are so steadfastly don't wear the prison bars. You can't even get a crow right.
Look at your logo.
You can't even get a crow right.
That was something you stole off of Twitter. That bloke that did it on Twitter, that concept. Why haven't you gone back to that logo? Your old logo.
I don't know.
To me, because I know that the whole thing was to tie it in with the black and white, the SANFL history.
Yeah.
I look at it and go, Yeah, it's black and white, like the Magpie was,
Yeah.
but it's not. It doesn't pay enough tribute.
Yeah.
Go back to your old logo.
Yeah.
And I know that a lot of people are saying we should go back to our old 1990 logo.
I think you should.
And look, one day that could happen.
Yeah.
It absolutely could happen. You know, you see clubs, Melbourne clubs all the time go back to the way it would be. And I think, given one day it probably will in some sort of updated capacity in Shield or whatever. I don't know. So,
Well, let's get on to the most important thing that happened last night.
The Dirty Sixes?
The 36ers.
Well, look, we'll start off. There's a reason why I said the Dirty Sixes.
Give us the quote.
Yes, I've been dying to pull out my phone and get this quote. So, for those who don't know, Romy Chowdhury is an outspoken owner of the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. Dude is an absolute grub and loves to pot anything Adelaide.
Yeah.
When we had the Bogut thing earlier this year, he put his 2 cents worth in. He doesn't want to be muzzled. He wants his say on everything. Yeah. He's a bit like, I don't want to say, I almost said Donald Trump, that, you know, they no, I won't compare him anyway. So his quote, and this is his on Twitter, so anyone can see it. So this is in regards to a fan writing about Nick Rakocevic and his act. Now, just to run you through, because I don't think I'll be able to add the footage. Basketball's razor tight. FIBA have blocked everything, so you've got to have a special considerations, which we don't have, being a small-time show. So Nick Rakocevic was defending on the block. Player comes in, hits the basket. On the way down, Nick Rakocevic's arm comes down. Player's already falling down. Hits the player. Player's already falling down. Player hits the deck. But because it's Rakocevic, because it was his hand, it kicks off a bit. Because Rakocevic has a reputation of being a bit of a dirty player. Yeah. Now, I can come across as a biased fan at times, probably now even. No, by no means am I saying that, Nick Rakocevic is an angel. But in this case, he's done nothing. The referee's treated it as such. Yeah. Dealt with it on the court. He got his foul.
That's
no dramas.
It was only a foul.
Move on.
Yeah.
He didn't get ejected. Now, if the referees saw that to be dirty Nick Rakocevic, he would have been ejected like he was earlier in the season. Yeah. He wasn't. So dealt with on the court. Played on. No further issues. So he's responding back to Romy Chowdhury. He's responding to fan. Agreed. This is the same guy who pretty much attacked Hunter Maldonado. That's the bloke from Brisbane earlier this season, where he did get in trouble. No, he didn't.
Got a match.
The Brisbane guys did, but because he had that impending thing over him, he got the suspension.
He got a suspension. Yeah.
In the game against Brisbane, not too long ago. Physicality is great. We play physical too, but playing physical and playing dirty are two different things. End quote. Now, this bloke is the leader of the side that was supposed to blow the 36ers off the court with their physicality and defense.
Thanks, Lowry, too.
Yeah. So,
Damon Lowry.
This is a case of Victorian tears.
Yeah.
Spend more time on your winemaking. Your wine might be decent, and less time with your salty water, because this is just a case of you guys thinking you had the game won. They thought they had the game won. They were expecting to come across, win that game, and then close it off Saturday night. Right. It's not happening. Now, another thing that happened, did you see John Brown III go down the last 10 seconds of the game?
Yes, I did. Yes.
Hope your groin's all right. Maybe get Romy Chowdhury to give you a bit of a rub. Yep. Every night this week, and maybe you might be right for Saturday night. But because if he's down, it's 6 and 2.
Yeah.
And it's night Chowdhury, it's night Josh King, it's night John Brown III. Night Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. But I will give a decent shout out to old mate Sobey.
Yep.
What was it, 9 from 24?
Yeah, 9 from 24. He'll be better in game.
Oh, he will. But that's the sort of type of player he is. He's very streaky.
Yeah.
I would love to see that sort of performance again come Saturday night. And he's every chance of backing that up.
And full credit to the boys. Bryce Cotton, the bench, DJ. What we've lacked all year is we've been one-dimensional, and we've spoken about this a lot.
Yep.
Bryce Cotton. These other guys stood up when the team needed them, and defensively, offensively, and they, it was a good game, tight game. And in the end, we come out in front. And thanks, Lowry, for probably pumping the boys up. Those comments of yours about sweep would have gone through that locker room so many times.
Playing devil's advocate here, Larry's an entertainer.
I understand that, but you don't say shit.
Yeah, and you listen to SEN. So did you hear him on?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. So he was on Kimbo and Chad Corns' show, and
I did. Yes.
To me, I think there's a bit of a showmanship to it, I genuinely think he wanted the 36ers to be playing like that because no one wanted a series where, and the last two times the Phoenix have beat up on the 36ers by double-digit points.
You're right. Yeah.
So, he from his standpoint, he wants a decent series because we know that tonight Perth and Sydney are going to throw down. There's no way that Perth are going to roll over like some pundits are saying. Again, a lot like the 36ers. Yeah. They'll bring that physical style. So good luck, KD, mate. You've got your hands full.
This is some different. This is the time of year that we were saying. This is where it matters. Counts. This is where it counts.
Also, I will say this: the pressure that Bryce Cotton now has heaped on KD now, because KD would have been sitting at home, he would have been watching. This bloke reads his own comments on Twitter. Yeah. He drinks his own bathwater. Yeah. He will be feeling the outward pressure that. Yeah. He's put his claim down that, no, I was the best and fairest. Well, now, mate, you've got your chance to show it. Because that first quarter in particular, Bryce Cotton come out and played like MVP. Michael Jordan.
Absolutely.
I'm not kidding. Now, you say, no way that was Michael Jordan performance. But the way he took that game by the scruff of the neck, and he was making shots in front of players with their hands down his throat. The best defensive team in the comp, man. He tore them to shreds, made them look second rate, and it just heaped pressure on them for the rest of the game because, like you mentioned, the rest of the team lifted.
That's it. Yep.
But it was because what Bryce Cotton set the tone. Yep. They still had to do their bit, and they did, but it was they gravitated towards them, and then it was their time to take over in that last half, last quarter, last moments of the game. It was your Flynn Cameron's driving to the basket. You had DJ on the wing, knocking down some big shots. And you've got Rakocevic with his second chance putbacks. And, oh, man.
Look, it was a great performance. And Bryce would have heard some of those comments about him not being the MVP too.
No, he would have.
Like, he would have, So he would have wanted to come out and prove it. Now, 19 or 16 days between games? That's just ridiculous.
I think it worked in 36's
Well, it might have worked in their favour, but I still think that's ridiculous. Like, you can't be having these big, massive breaks.
No, but the final system and the way it's set up, look, the FIBA break didn't help. So that's
you're spot on, but now they're forced into NRL and AFL seasons, which takes eyes off the game. Look, now, your next game's Saturday night. Now, how many people are going to... Like, only the die-hard...
I'll be watching
NBL. That's it. Exactly. So it takes eyes away from your sport by doing it this way. Now, I understand about the FIFA stuff, but if you need these guys to be fronting up, we'd smash any team in for qualification. Like, we don't need these blokes. They should have pushed forward with the finals, and they could have picked a team around it.
There's enough teams out of the finals that can select this.
That's spot on. Yeah. So, but it is what it is, and you'll be going well into the NFL and NRL seasons before your playoffs are over.
The good thing is, like they did, started on a Tuesday night into a Wednesday night. When it gets to the grand final series, that's what they'll do. That's what they did last year. Unfortunately, just means that one of the showpiece games, when you get into that grand final series will be on a Friday or Saturday night.
That's right, and it will go up against.
But they could roll a Sunday night. AFL don't leave that alone. The last game is generally in Perth. Finishes around about 7 o'clock.
Yeah. They're going to have to figure. Well, again, it is what it is, and I guess we play out the series and we see what happens. But if they can play like this, if the 32nd Sixers can put up this sort of effort, next two games or next one game, it could be all over. Yeah. If they come back home, I'd expect them to move on, and then we'll find out whether it's Perth or Sydney.
To me, it didn't feel like a fluke.
It didn't. No.
Because if it's a fluke, they drop.
And in fact, I thought it was reffed in fact. Now I don't know. Call me whatever you want. You call me a homie, but I thought it was definitely reffed in the Southeast Melbourne.
No, it was. But that was because your players, Southeast Melbourne, should probably take up soccer because they spend more time on the floor. carrying on. Some of them rolling.
Too much watching LeBron, I think.
Jesus Christ.
La flop.
I've never seen anything like that from a so-called hard team. What the hell was that? And to tell you the truth, if as an opposition side, you look at that and you look at him rolling on the floor and they play this hard, smash-mouth, defensive-style game, you're laughing.
You're questioning.
You're laughing, aren't you? You're going, like, seriously, you guys are jokes.
Yeah.
But that steals you.
That's right, it does. Yeah. But it also bothers you when the ref gets sucked into it.
Oh, it does.
Blowing whistles when they're not there. So
I don't know if it'll be the same referees come Saturday night, but they've had a good look at what happened.
Yeah. Well, I hope so. I hope they have. I hope that, and then you go with a home crowd. Yeah. So all that flopping and stuff does put pressure on the refs to blow the whistle.
But seeing the way that game was, because they did their review afterwards as well, much like at Sidewood.
Yeah.
There's a bit of a payback.
Yeah.
Because if they got the rub against us, and a lot of our players were in foul trouble because of it.
Yeah.
And that was our home court, and our crowd couldn't have been any better.
Yeah, they were. Yeah.
Couldn't have been any better.
Spot on. But if you find the calls, if they start flopping around, if South East Melbourne start flopping around at home, and they're not getting the calls, that crowd will go crazy. And I don't care who you are, you're not being booed. It doesn't matter.
And then come game 3, then the square up has to happen.
Yeah.
It has to happen eventually.
Yeah. That's my hope. Yeah. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but that's my hope.
Because even the NBL would be going, mate, we've got to be careful here because this looks like we're cooking.
But they don't care. They don't care. As long as a Sydney or a Melbourne side wins it, they do not care.
Are you kidding?
They sweep it under the carpet.
What are you doing? In this case, the prime matchup is Cotton versus KD. Because even the people from Melbourne are going, mate, I want to see that matchup.
Yeah, you might be right.
Guys from Perth are going, I want to see that matchup.
Yeah.
And look, I was kind of rooting for Perth tonight, but I also kind of want Sydney to win for that aspect. And I want us to win.
Yeah.
So that Bryce can.
Well, we can finally put this to bed.
Yeah. Because I still don't think, even though Sydney had a 3-1 season advantage over 36ers.
They were very close, weren't they?
Yeah, I still don't think we played to potential.
No, we didn't. No way did we play to potential. No.
Even the game we won, we didn't play that well.
Yeah. Well, let's get to our last subject. Let's talk about the Matildas hype and versus the expectation.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Give me your thoughts. They finished second in their pool. Had a lot of chances, didn't take their opportunities. That's why they finished second. A little bit of criticism, which I think is good.
Yeah.
Because I think we've slurped them too much. Now we're actually starting to say, hang on.
Yeah.
You're not taking your opportunities.
And in a tournament like this where you're in the top 4 favourites, you can't be glazed, for a 3-3 draw that you probably should have won.
And they were happy. Did you see the celebration? I don't know if you saw it at all.
And that's wrong.
Korea they were over the moon that they got a draw out of it. Whether that meant that they finished top of their group, or whether that meant that
they got that top seed.
Whether that was why they were happy, because I would have been disappointed. They had a 3-2 lead, and that thing went deep, like 11 minutes of extra time.
Yeah,
deep, and they scored him in 97th or the 98th minute. The Tillies, so
it just felt like at no point the Matildas were going to win that game. That was just my gut feeling.
No, you're right. Yeah, it felt like they would. Yeah, it was very lackluster.
Yeah.
It was very. They would. While I enjoyed it because it was open, and you like a 6-goal game. There's nothing wrong with a 6-goal game.
But
everything's on the line.
Stations,
that's right. When everything's on the line, you got to take your chances, and that the polish still isn't there. Like that team could have easily won that game 6-3, easily.
I still have Japan and China.
Yeah,
well above us.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'd have
because
Korea
they're more
just
professional.
us.
I think they're more professional. Those sides, and that's why we still seem to lack that final polish.
Yeah.
Now, full credit to them. Okay, you've made the quarters. You need to get through the semis.
But I mean, they made the quarters. But if you can't make the quarters against Iran, and Philippines they both offer nothing.
Yeah, you
shouldn't be there
for nothing. But they're why they would have liked to have topped the group. They're still where they should be at the moment, and they've got the opportunity against North Korea to advance to a semi, which is what they're going to have to do now.
Yeah.
And then from there, who knows whether it's China or Japan or who it might be.
So they're nutting out a game style that's supposed to compete with the best. So we're going to find out very soon whether or not that is. I know Craig Foster was a big rap for them. So they're a watch. keep it on them.
Look, you got to take your chances. And I was impressed with, Sam Kerr. She's getting back into form. She set up a few. She scored a couple herself. So, that's developing. But Mary Fowler still seems like she's finding her way again after an injury.
Yeah.
So it's a ever-changing landscape. But I'm just glad that it's not all slurping and there is a little bit of just.
And I'm surprised you're not rolling out your famous line. Like you're always big about finishing strong.
Well, you got to finish strong.
Yeah, you don't want to. Yeah, and I completely agree. So coming out and belting Korea 4-5-0 probably would have.
Would have said a lot. Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, papered a few cracks.
Yeah, would have definitely put him in a better position, as we know. But
but I mean, it would have also wallpapered cracks because by no means they're still very young under Anthony. What's his name? Joey Montanuro. They're still nutting out a game style.
So, what did you think? Let's go to the 2020 World Cup. What did you think of all the top sides being put in one side of the pool and all the second sides being put in the second side of the pool? Like, when does that ever happen? That all the teams that finished top played each other in a to then determine who would play in the final. That did not make sense to me at all. Like, it just when I saw that, and I think I wasn't the only one who was questioning why would have all the teams that finished first in their pool playing each other and the teams that finished second in their pool playing each other. That absolutely
doesn't reward you, does it?
Doesn't reward anything.
I'll finish second then.
That's it. You might as well finish second. You get the weakest side. Yeah. Of the pool. Yeah, spot on. But then, of course, it shows out the final, didn't it? Because they absolutely got spanked.
Yeah, they
absolutely got spanked. Yeah.
So I want to just quickly, before you see us out, your tip we'll do just our games.
Okay.
So,
well, I was impressed. I've got to admit, I was impressed by Collingwood. I did not think they would beat St Kilda. So I was leaning towards you guys, but after seeing them play against St Kilda, I don't know what to expect because I don't know what you're going to be putting out on that field.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about.
So at this point of time, I'm going to head with the home team.
Yeah.
So I'll probably go with Collingwood. And if we are half thinking that we're anywhere near as good as we were, we should beat North Melbourne.
And I see North Melbourne has another debutant.
That's right.
So as a team that should be getting into that stage where they should be maturing. They keep just bringing in new teams.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts?
So I have concerns for you guys. I just feel like North need this game so badly, whereas I think you guys can afford to drop it. I'm not saying you will, but this is Clarko's last year. If he doesn't get wins on the board, this is critical for that entire club.
He is. They do have him odds-on favourite to be the first coach.
But also they're talking about the board will be thrown out and everything. This is massive. So this is a grand final already for North Melbourne. So I'm actually leaning towards North.
So you think North? Okay.
But I mean, there's no I'm not looking at it position versus position, if that makes sense. It's just this is played on pure between the years. The fact that they do now that could work both ways. It could end up really folding, or they pull it off. But look, good luck to you guys. It's a new game plan. It's starting to take shape. You took care of West Coast, so
that was nice. I mean, again,
you did what you had to do.
That's right. Every year I say I don't put any. You look at Carlton; they were going to win the premiership, and then they go into round one and they're the same old Carlton. So, what about your game?
Yeah, I think it comes down to selection. How many of those guys are they going to put in that were on the track for the first time this week cleared? If you put 5 or 6 of those guys in, then you probably give advantage Collingwood.
Yeah.
If you slide 2 in, and you've got to be careful with which 2 you slide in, I think we should win because the way Collingwood play and their retention of the ball, they don't score heavily. And if we get our chance, we get our moment in the sun, we will score heavily. I know that Moore will be back, but Howe won't. And I think that'll help us.
You. Yeah. Definitely helps you scoring. Yeah.
So if Moore's coming in only half fit because he was 1 to 2 weaker, but they're saying he is fit, we might be able to get hold of them and just put enough on the board to squeak home. It's going to be close. Yeah. But again, I see your point of argument, and this is another 50-50.
Look, it's always hard early in the season because every team is unknown, I guess.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
But
and look, they've got the advantage of playing last week, so it should
right.
be big time advantage, Collingwood.
Yeah.
But again, we'll see.
They've got the running in the legs, so I agree with you, and that's the other thing. You're spot on. They have got the advantage of having to play it last week.
Given what happened last year,
and they didn't travel. So.
Given what happened last year, there's no chance in hell I'm tipping Collingwood against Adelaide just because it's more of a big up yours to them than yeah.
But in that final, after the Rankin incident, and in that final, you really didn't show up. So
no.
You need to now. This is a statement game, I think. After what happened last year, definitely.
And that's the thing. There's so much unknown with that team. With what the magnets are going to be thrown around everywhere, you won't see.
Because I tell you what, if you lose to Collingwood now, talk about flat track bullies.
You can't go.
You are going to be seen as the Mac Andrew of the AFL. A lot of talk and no action, mate. After all that talk you did about Rankin,
you can start with that after round 4 if we're 0-4.
Then you got spanked in the final, and then if you come out round 1 and you get done again by Collingwood, the team who you said you despise because of what happened with Rankin, and you get done again, you are the Mac Andrew of the AFL, mate.
Hang on, what happens to going early? Don't try and wind me up this early.
Seriously, right? Mac Andrew. Henceforth, you'll be called as the Adelaide
You're not
Mac
winding me
Andrews.
up this early.
All right?
No, not happening.
All right, let's get out of here.
Well, that was a joke? I thought that was a joke.
What's small, annoying, and really ugly? I don't know, but it comes when I call it's my brother. That's from Finn. Thanks, Finn.
Yeah, I think you pushed that. Good night.